Alright, so I figured I would do something a little bit different this time. And instead of doing an actual video, I'm going to be doing a live stream just to change things up. Figured you guys might like this. Talking about the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus that was just announced by Samsung. Even though we all saw the leaks and rumors about it, the phone literally was like unofficially released like months ago. But that's okay. We had that with like the iPhone and the new LG phone and everything, so it's nothing really to worry about. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna start off the design of the phone because we already knew what that was gonna look like, and I'm gonna pull up some photos here to show you guys. The one thing, and I talked about this on Twitter and everything, that I really hoped wasn't true was the fingerprint scanner here. I'll zoom in a little bit, but the fingerprint scanner for this phone is right next to the camera, and I think that is a terrible place for it to be. Now, I'm all up for fingerprint scanners, like being on the back of the phone and everything. I have no problem with that. But if it's right next to the camera, one big problem right off the bat, before I even knew how big these phones were going to be and everything like that, is when you reach to unlock your phone, it's not a button, by the way, it's just a fingerprint scanner. When you reach to unlock it, you're going to accidentally hit the camera, and you're going to smudge your camera really badly. Other things to know about this phone, there's two models actually, the S8 and the S8 Plus. The S8 has a 5.8-inch display, and if you thought that was big, the S8 Plus has a 6.2-inch display. So both screens are really big, and I think from a business standpoint, that wasn't the smartest move. Now, granted, it's Samsung; these phones are gonna sell no matter what. But if I was to be in Samsung's position making these phones, I have to think from a consumer standpoint. Like, I think Apple handles this well, where you have three iPhones. You have an iPhone SE, you have an iPhone 7, and you have an iPhone 7 Plus. So you get a small size, a normal size, and a large size. You get a 4-inch screen, a 4.7-inch screen, and a 5.5-inch screen. So you have options. If you like a really small phone, you go with the SE. You like maybe an average size phone, you get the regular one. You want a bigger screen, you get the plus size iPhone. With the S8 and S8 Plus, you just get a large screen or a really large screen. Now, it's fine for me because I like large phones. I use an iPhone 6s Plus. So if I were to get this phone, I would probably go all out and get the 6.2-inch S8 Plus. And they're good screens and everything, but what worries me is, since they're so high resolution and so big, the batteries inside the phones, I don't know if they can hold up. I'll get to that in a second. More information about the screens. The resolution of the S8 and S8 Plus, they have the same resolution OLED panels. They're really nice looking displays. They're like 2900 by 1440 resolution screens, around that resolution. 18 by 9 aspect ratio displays like we saw on the LG G6. But like I said, 5.8 and 6.2 inches, really tall. So on the regular S8, I've heard it's really hard to reach the fingerprint scanner. Like, you have to stretch for it, especially since it's so like close to the top of the phone. And then the 6.2 inch, you actually have to like move your hand, depending on like how big your hands are. And see, if it was like on the back of the phone, like towards the center, it's fine because your finger kind of like rests towards the center when using a phone, depending on how you hold your phone. I mean, I have this, or like an iPhone, you kind of hold your finger down there to support your phone, but nobody holds their phone like over with their finger over here. Nobody that I know, anyways. It just doesn't seem like a very comfortable position to begin with. Um, so there's that. They have the same camera on the phone, just while I'm talking about like the design and everything. The camera in the phone is the same camera from the S7. Kind of disappointing that they didn't like make it any better. The S7 already had a really good camera, so I don't think that'll be like a big problem. But the fact that they didn't make it any like better and improve upon it, I don't really like. It's not even like a dual camera system, so in terms of like the LG G6 has a really good camera that's a dual camera, and we still have to see the new iPhone and Pixel phones and things like that. So if somebody is looking for a new phone and they want a really good camera, the S8, which last year like the S7 was like top of the list, it might not be the same story this year, which could, from a business perspective, might not be the best thing for Samsung. This phone is water resistant, has a headphone jack, unlike the iPhone, charges through a USB-C port now, still has wireless charging, same buttons and everything, but you have a Bixby button too. I'll get to what Bixby is in a second. And there's like no bezel I don't know if you guys even saw the front of the phone in this photo. The bezels are super small. And as you can see, you have the lock button, but then you also have the volume and then Bixby button. So Bixby, in case you guys didn't know, it was kind of leaked a little bit before the phone came out. It's Samsung's virtual assistant. It's their take on like what the Google Assistant is. And they claim that it can do anything that you could do while typing on your phone. And they had like the show at the event where they unveiled the S8 and S8 Plus. It was called Unpacked. They had it. They said they had it doing things like playing games on your phone, things like that. Now those are pretty big claims to make. And what's weird is this is an Android phone, runs Android 7.0 Nougat, and that version of Android unveiled Google Assistant, which is still on this phone. If you hold the home button, you get the Google Assistant. So I don't really know what Samsung was thinking when they did that. So you have the Google Assistant if you want, or you have Bixby, which works a lot like Google Now, where you swipe over to the left and you have a bunch of cards with like your packages being delivered, how your sports teams are doing, the weather, how long your commute will be to work, things like that, your steps and all that stuff. But then it also has all the virtual assistant stuff that you get with like your voice. It wasn't like available to test out at the show floor, so we don't know how well it works. We have Samsung's claims, but S-Voice didn't do that good in the past. Samsung hasn't really been the best with virtual assistants, so we're gonna have to see how that works. But they're pushing this really hard. They even have a button, like I showed you guys on the side of the phone, dedicated to just this personal assistant. So they seem pretty confident in its abilities. Another cool thing that this phone has is called Dex, I believe, something like that, starts with a D. It's basically like the biggest ripoff ever of Microsoft Continuum, where you put your phone in a dock that you pay Samsung a bunch of money for, and it works like a computer. But you can do, you can do all the same stuff Microsoft Continuum can do, but I think they're really working on this because they partnered with Microsoft and a bunch of other companies to make full-fledged apps that will work with Dex. But I don't know, a lot of stuff that Samsung does, I feel like they do it just to say that their phone can do it. Like, oh, my phone can double as a computer. And I think it's cool, but I don't know how practical it is, because you have to pay the amount of money you pay just for like the dock itself. You could buy like a really cheap computer to begin with that would perform probably just as well as Dex would. But also nobody has like if for that to work, you have to carry around like a monitor and keyboard and stuff like that. So it's not the most practical thing, but it is a cool thing, and I like how Samsung took the initiative to do something like that, and I want to see more stuff like that in the future from other companies just trying. I think something like that will actually like develop and become something cool in the future. What else is cool with the S8? The battery size. The battery in the S8 is a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, and the one in the S8 Plus is a 3,500 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty, like, this is a decent battery size, but we might have what we saw at the S6 where the battery just doesn't hold up because you have those super huge high resolution displays. You also have all the latest hardware inside, like the Snapdragon 835 if you're in the US, or an Exynos processor if you're outside the US. Like I said earlier, fast and wireless charging, which you know from Samsung will be really fast. Even fast wireless charging, which is pretty cool. Micro SD card slot, water resistance. There's no camera hump anymore. It's completely gone. You have just every high-end spec there is that you can get in a phone. So this will be like the fastest phone out as of right now. I think that's everything with the Galaxy S8. There's the software, which seems just a lot like what they do every year, where they just take TouchWiz and tone it down a little bit. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the Galaxy S8. Go and let me know if you guys like me doing live streams, just talking about my thoughts on like new tech. Not only is it easier to do than a video, but I think it's just cool to do things a little bit differently. So maybe instead of like 7 videos a week, I'll do like 6 videos and a live stream talking about tech or something like that. Or I've even thought about doing like a tech podcast once a week. So let me know what you guys think of that. Anyways, that's been it. Thank you guys for watching. Give this a like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video or live stream, whichever one I do next.